The killer of Iryna Zarutska has been finally sentenced to death after an investigation that lasted a couple of weeks. He was recently released from jail after serving 6 years in prison, and authorities revealed that his violent behavior had escalated quickly following his release, shocking the Charlotte community and investigators. The killing of Iryna Zarutska went down on August 22, 2025, at the East-West Boulevard station on the Lynx Blue Line in Charlotte, North Carolina, United States. Iryna Zarutska, a Ukrainian refugee who had fled her country because of the Russian invasion, was fatally stabbed. The suspected assailant DeCarlos Brown Jr. was arrested as he stepped off the train and charged with first-degree murder. The killing pulled in international attention because Zarutska was a refugee looking for safety in the United States. It brought a public statement from Charlotte Mayor Vi Lyles, and the footage of the attack set social media on fire, sparking outrage and pushing new talks about transit security fair enforcement and the gaps in both the criminal justice system and mental health care. Iryna Zarutska was born in Kyiv, Ukraine, and was 23 years old when she died. Zarutska studied at Synergy College in Kyiv and earned a degree in art and restoration. Following the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the Zarutska family moved from their apartment to a small bomb shelter where they lived for months. Iryna, her mother, her sister, and her younger brother immigrated to the United States in 2022. Her father remained in Ukraine as laws prevented men between the ages of 18 and 60 from leaving the country, and he was unable to attend her funeral in the United States, in Huntersville, North Carolina. Iryna took various jobs and began learning English. Her boyfriend gave her driving lessons. Since the family had never owned a car, Zarutska enrolled in college classes and found work at a Charlotte pizzeria. The night of the attack, Zarutska had finished a shift there and was commuting on the Lynx Blue Line. The 34-year-old suspect, DeCarlos Brown Jr., was arrested 14 times in Mecklenburg County before the stabbing. On April 11, 2014, he was convicted of breaking and entering. While on probation, he was arrested for armed robbery and possession of a firearm by a felon. Brown was incarcerated for more than 5 years in state prison. Upon release, he initially lived with his family, but his mother told ABC News that he was diagnosed with schizophrenia at this point and displayed violent behavior at home. His mother said she sought involuntary commitment, but was denied. The Associated Press reported that involuntary commitments are difficult to obtain unless a court finds the person to be dangerous. North Carolina reduced the capacity of state hospitals in the early 2000s. And the average wait time for a psychiatric bed was 16 days in 2024. After Brown stopped taking psychiatric medication, his mother brought him to a homeless shelter. In January 2025, he repeatedly called 911 about a man-made material inside him that was controlling his body. Brown was charged with misuse of 911 and released without bond. On August 22, 2025, Zarutska was at a light rail station in Charlotte's South End neighborhood. Surveillance footage shows Zarutska boarding the train and sitting in front of the perpetrator. 4 minutes later, the perpetrator pulled a pocket knife from his hoodie and stabbed Zarutska 3 times from behind, including at least once in the neck. Zarutska remained conscious or semi-conscious for nearly a minute before bleeding out and collapsing on the floor. No security personnel were present in the train car, though there were officers on board the train 1 car ahead. Although at least 4 other people were seated near Zarutska during the stabbing. Help from passengers was provided after she collapsed on the floor.
Huh? Say what?
The suspect exited the train 2 minutes later, and Iryna was pronounced dead shortly after. Despite emergency crews arriving quickly to the scene, witnesses told investigators that DeCarlos Brown Jr. walked calmly off the platform as if nothing had happened before police located and arrested him nearby. He was taken into custody without incident and later charged with first-degree murder. The case moved through the Mecklenburg County court system under intense public scrutiny. Drawing attention from both local and international media outlets, prosecutors presented detailed surveillance footage, eyewitness testimony, and Brown's own history of violent behavior and mental health concerns. After a thorough trial, the jury found Brown guilty of first-degree murder, and the judge imposed the ultimate penalty, sentencing him to death. Community members gathered outside the courthouse to reflect on the loss of Iryna Zarutska, a young woman who had survived war only to face tragedy in a place she sought for safety. City officials acknowledged the broader issues the case highlighted, including gaps in mental health care and the need for stronger transit security. As the legal process concluded, many in Charlotte and beyond expressed both sorrow for Iryna's family and frustration over how the system failed to protect her. This concludes the detailed account of the events surrounding the crime and the subsequent trial. Thank you for following along with this report and for taking the time to consider the serious issues it raises about public safety, mental health support, and the responsibility of the community to remain vigilant. May we honor Iryna's memory by continuing to discuss solutions that can prevent such tragedies in the future.